What's up guys, Chris here with another Fortnite of the Apocalypse manga chapter review, and I have to say, Nakaba Suzuki, you keep introducing things to delay the most important bits. I have been right and wrong multiple times in the past couple of chapters, but this time, come on man, you have to keep blueballing us with the information that we need. That is a very weird sentence to start off this video with, but I stand by it. This chapter was good overall, as most Fortnite chapters have been, especially since Lancelot's reveal. But this chapter in particular, I liked it, but it also kind of felt a little cliche, and just kept teasing us with a lot of things for us to see, as well as the classic misunderstandings trope to get new allies potentially for the future. But upside, we might have the fourth night of the apocalypse? Maybe? Because we do get 3 new named characters in this chapter, so there's a lot to think about and to discuss. But I'll get into this chapter right after the intro. Alright, now right before we get into the actual review, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help, as I do want this channel to do very well, and I want to keep making Fortnite's content for you guys. I've also got a video in the works on Percival himself, so look forward to that. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Twitter for updates on future videos, as well as just to see what I generally talk about, or just start having random conversations with online. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Chapter 53, Triple Trouble. And we don't get into the namesake of this chapter until about halfway through. We continue from right at the end of chapter 52, where Percival is asking Meliodas why he wants Percival's help to help the people of Leonis. Meliodas states that the knights are meant to be chosen ones to save the world, and Percival is wondering he has that kind of power. But the thing is, he still thinks that the knights are meant to destroy the world, and it doesn't match what Meliodas is telling him. Meliodas stated that Lancelot didn't tell Percival the key parts of the story, and it's just like him to leave stuff out like that every now and again. But it's in character for Lancelot. He pats Percival on the head and states that he'll cover everything once all 4 knights are assembled. And that is a very important piece of information, as at that moment there were only about 3 members of the 4 knights in the kingdom. So Percival, Lancelot, and I assume is Tristan, as we've all speculated at least 2 of the 4 knights are Lancelot and Tristan. But as he's about to get Percival to turn to the castle, a holy knight appears on one of those flying manta ray creatures, stating that the prince has returned from his voyage. Which means that Tristan was also out on a mission similar to Lancelot, as Meliodas asked if he brought back one of the prophesized knights. And turns out he did. But apparently an issue rose up. And Meliodas is like, well, way to sour the mood. Percival looks over to the distance and sees some shining lights in the distance, something sparkling. Meliodas is scratching his head, saying that it's a surprise, but the prophecy is true enough. So he's trying to get Percival to go to the castle, but then he realizes that Percival just up and booked it. Being the type of, character that would just go off and see something cool without really thinking about it, he just straight up leaves. Classic. So Percival is walking down an alley as a female knight is walking in his path. Percival is too fast to stop, despite the knight telling Percival to watch where he's going. And he then runs into her and somehow gets under her skirt. Okay, I feel like Nakaba Suzuki has been missing doing these Meliodas gags that he did with Elizabeth in the 7 Deadly Sins, and he's just using Percival's innocence as a way to get away with it. I mean, look, I don't mind the fanservice misunderstanding tropes, but it just gets frustrating, especially with types like this. Especially with how Percival's reacting to this as the naive kid that he is, despite him being 16 years old. I don't know, it's just a minor gripe for me. I don't really like it too much. But the female knight gets angry, swings her mace at him, and basically tells Percival to remove his clothes so that she can crush his, well, let's just say any guy reading this chapter will just think, ow. But yeah, he pissed her off unintentionally, and now she's swinging her mace at him. We then get a little close-up at what's sparkling in the sky, and it seems that it's types of stones and stuff like that. And someone named Shion is wondering what's going on with all those stones. And this character says that it's hard to say because they're reacting to something beyond that hill. And then they hear their comrade trying to crush Percival's bits out of sheer embarrassment, as Percival's just running away, and they notice that she is trying to crush a kid. But the one that I believe is called Chion notices the dragon handle that Percival has. And we also learn that the female knight's name is Isolde. And apparently, thanks to the dragon handle, the piece of a coffin of eternal darkness, now they believe that Percival is one of Arthur's Knights of Camelot. So they believe that Percival is one of the Chaos Knights. Again, misunderstandings trope right here, right now. And so, even though they're a little hesitant because he looks like a child, they're still going to go and try and apprehend him or something like that, because it could just be a plan to send a child to get them off guard. So these two knights join Isolde and corner Percival, stating their names as Jade and Chion, Knights of Leonis. So they're holy knights as well. Isolde is questioning that Percival is actually a holy knight, and that he's still humiliated from that event beforehand. Percival tries to explain himself, saying that he's not their enemy, that he was brought there by the King of Leonis, but then he realizes something. His lips are flapping, but his voice is gone. And two of these knights thinking that he's run out of excuses, but he's trying to say something. And they kind of mistake this as him just taunting the three of them. Percival dodges one of Isolde's attacks once again, as they all begin to get ready to dispose of Percival. Percival is trying to say that he's on their side, but his lips keep flapping, but no voice comes out. Now these knights begin to think that they can't cast magic in town because it'd be too dangerous, and there'd be a lot of collateral damage. So regardless, they need to act in the worst case scenario if he is Arthur's spy. They agree, and they charge up their magic in order to attack Percival. Percival states that if this is how it's going to go, then I have no choice but to fight, as Isolde rushes to try and hit Percival as the chapter ends. Now, here's what I'm thinking. So those gems are probably like security crystals, and maybe they're picking up one of Arthur's knights coming to Leonis. It'd be hilarious if it was Pelgart, and Pelgart was actually a spy for Meliodas. That would just be hilarious. Seriously, that would be hilarious if that was the case, because ever since Pelgart's first appearance, and you know how he's always acted towards Percival, not wanting to kill him, wanting to make him a, an apprentice. It'd be hilarious if he was secretly a double agent for Meliodas the entire time, and turns out he was just going to Leonis to just report to Meliodas. But yeah, overall this chapter was relatively quick, and I'll admit it, while it's good, it was kind of frustrating for the fact that Nakba keeps postponing Tristan's arrival in the story, as well as more explanation on the four Knights of the Apocalypse, what they are, and the whole full truth about the prophecy and what Arthur's goals are and what happened to Arthur. Then we get introduced to three new characters, which it's basically been it's a trope in every single series. Once you get to a new area, you'll get introduced to three new characters. Now, their importance is actually a mini theory of mine. Perhaps these three are comrades of one of the four knights. Perhaps they're Tristan's friends. And while Tristan was away looking for one of the knights, they remained in Leonis to protect it, seemingly. And maybe where they were going to meet Tristan. And then they ran into Percival, and this whole weird thing came to be. Again, a little frustrating that this whole misunderstanding happened, and it is possible that there's some sort of sabotage where Percival is being made to look like the bad guy, as he can't explain himself, as for some reason he can't speak. Now, a little thing that came to mind is perhaps Chion is kind of the whole hard, strong justice type deal, like unwavering justice, and he won't want to hear explanations from his enemies. Perhaps that could be the thing, and his magic or spell he's using is keeping Percival from explaining himself, as he thinks that his allies will be too gullible to believe what this kid is saying, and they could kill them. Fair enough. Now, how this whole there's also the thing that perhaps Isolde might actually be King and the Anne's daughter and one of the four knights. I doubt that, but considering that they say that they're holy knights of Leonis. But then again, Lancelot is treated as a knight of Leonis to an extent, but he's technically from Benwick. I don't know, it's a weird thing right now. But this confrontation, it's going to last at least half a chapter next week. I feel like they're going to have a brief skirmish, and then either Lancelot or Meliodas will show up to stop the fighting, or perhaps it'll be Tristan himself to stop the fighting and clear up any misunderstandings. My money on Lancelot or Meliodas, as they know what Percival looks like. And, they'll most likely listen to the son of Bon, who is a friend of the King of Leonis, or the King of Leonis himself. I feel like that's what we're leading up to. but I really was hoping to meet Tristan this chapter and perhaps the 4th night. But it is confirmed that we are getting all 4 knights fully revealed in this Leonis arc. And all I can say is thank goodness we're finally getting the core cast of characters finally assembled within a little over a year. But overall, that was the chapter. Again, the whole forced fan service thing, the kind of misunderstandings and stuff like that does kind of get on my nerves when I see it way too often in a series. Again, I feel like that fan service skirt scene was just Nakaba just retreading old tropes, and perhaps missing drawing Meliodas in those perfect situations with Elizabeth, especially since there's only been like technically maybe like 2 other fan service scenes in this entire story so far, which for Nakaba Suzuki, considering how much he did in the beginning of the Seven Deadly Sins, is honestly surprising. But yeah, that was Four Knights of the Apocalypse chapter 53. Honestly, I really do hope that this fight doesn't last too long, as I feel like this arc in particular is going to be meant to be a exposition arc, where we get explanation on what happened during the 16-year time skip, the full purpose of the 4 Knights, and how they're going to stop Arthur. But yeah, that was the chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. That personal video will actually be up sometime next week, hopefully, or the weekend, depending on how things go. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon and Coffee accounts if you want to support the channel more directly. I have been setting up a Discord account, and my patrons will get access to not just the Discord, but also some special areas in the Discord that'll help either help me make more videos in terms of choosing what they are, or choosing video topics, or participating in polls, or getting me to review any particular anime or manga you want. So if you're interested, go check out my Patreon, or if you don't want a monthly subscription to this channel, then you can go over to Coffee and do a small donation to help get more videos out, as I do want to make more videos a week, other than my standard chapter reviews and my occasional big discussion or theory video. But yeah, with all that's said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.